Hey, it's Chris the Toy Guy from TimeToPlayMag.com, and we are celebrating the anniversary of an iconic toy, the Easy Bake Oven. It's its 50th anniversary. Probably no kids around today who haven't played with one, and I am here with Gail Simmons, permanent judge on Top Chef, an Easy Bake girl herself, and we're talking about the 50th anniversary. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm just excited to be here. I'm so excited to be partnering with Easy Bake to celebrate this 50th anniversary milestone. It's a really exciting thing to talk about.
So let's start with your Easy Bake Oven when you were a kid. Do you remember it?
I remember it so clearly, which was part of the reason I was obviously drawn to this in the first place. My parents used to keep it in the basement for me. This was the early 80s, and I have such vivid memories, sort of late 70s, early 80s, of my mother. You know, I would ask her to bring it up, and she would bring it up from the basement where we kept all the toys, and she would put it on the counter and let me play with it. I would make cakes with my girlfriends. There was nothing more rewarding than taking a cake out of that oven that didn't require my parents' help, that didn't require my mother doing all the work and me just, stirring and mixing. I was actually baking, and that was sort of, a revelation. So it's something very nostalgic for me, and it's just a brand that I can't help but love.
Oh, that's really wonderful. And we talked to a lot of parents when they revitalized it about 10 years ago, and all the moms said to us, the stuff tastes so much better than when I was a kid.
Well, the technology has changed, and I think our tastes have changed. I think that we all are a lot more educated about what we like about desserts, and desserts have become so diverse and interesting and creative. So I think that we all have sort of forced the mixes to be more than they were. What's amazing about Easy Bake is that even when I was little, there was sort of like 2 different cake flavors and maybe a chocolate chip cookie flavor,
right,
or maybe one other. But now you can really make anything, and it's not just about desserts anymore. You can make savory food, you can make pizza, you can make pretzels, and then you can use your own creativity using those mixes and all the different frostings and sparkles and sprinkles and chips, and add your own flavors to it. So actually, the most fun thing about working with them for this project was that they let me create my own flavors and my own recipes. And so I spent about 12 hours one day in the kitchen with the new Easy Bake Oven, recreating so many fun desserts.
Now, did it go with your decor?
It did. It's very slick. The new Ultimate Easy Bake Oven, which is sitting right here, is so different than the 1963 version. Did you take a look at all of them?
Yeah.
Which to me just was like a trip down memory lane, an amazing thing to behold. So now it's sort of super, someone I was talking to recently just used the word galactic, and it is. It's super modern. It feels really sleek, but ultimately, and it's no longer with a light bulb. It's a different science to the baking process, to the heating process, but it's still that same slide it in one door and out the other technology that I think is really great.
Well, the 1963 one was avocado colored, and that's what kitchens looked like. Easy Bake's always reflected current kitchen decor.
Exactly, and I think that's great. If you look at the last 12 models from the last 50 years, you will see that it actually is right on trend with every kitchen that was happening in that era, which was also why I think it was so great, because you as a child felt that you were part of the bigger kitchen experience. Exactly. You weren't just kind of using something that was not representative of the times. And it's funny to now look back at that 1963 oven and think it's so Mad Men, like it's so chic, it's so back in style.
So you were creative with your Easy Bake Oven, a little more than when you were a child, you a little more experience under your belt. What did you create?
So I made 2 recipes that are especially just for the 50th anniversary of the Easy Bake Oven. When we were going through sort of recipe ideas, we kept going back to those retro desserts that everybody loves and that have really come back in style now. So I was thinking a lot about what was retro for me, and one dessert I couldn't get out of my head is the hummingbird cake. Okay. It's a classic Southern cake that was introduced in the 60s and 70s. I think it actually dates back longer, but the first time it was really codified and published. It's a Southern classic cake recipe that has cinnamon, bananas, pineapple chunks, and pecans in a cake with cream cheese frosting. So you're gonna have to taste one.
Okay.
And then the other dessert, I was thinking about back to the time when I used the Easy Bake Oven, which was the early 80s.
Right.
And at the time in the early 80s, the other thing that I loved so much was Rocky Road ice cream.
Okay.
Remember Rocky Road ice cream?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I made a Rocky Road chocolate layer cake, and it's a devil's food cake with mini chocolate chips, lots of chopped walnuts, and then a layer of mini marshmallows inside and on top.
Oh wow.
Will you taste them?
So I will definitely
These
try
were
them.
made in the Easy Bake Oven.
Oh my gosh. That's really good.
And all of them kids can make. I mean, there's nothing complicated about these recipes. It's the classic mixes, just
This is the
mixing
easy
in.
bake mix?
It's the easy bake mix.
Those moms were right. This tastes a lot better.
It does, right?
So let me try this one.
Yeah,
This is really
please.
amazing.
It's a layer cake, a multi-layer cake.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
No problem.
I mean,
Pretty fun.
these are real desserts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now when you go up to Dad and say, Dad, try this, he doesn't have to grimace. He can actually be excited.
And let me assure you, my parents grimaced with a lot of my early concoctions when I was a kid. But these are actual beautiful, lovely desserts. And you can be creative with them. I mean, there's so many accessories and add-ons and add-ins and mix-ins and stir-ins that you can take from your own kitchen. Anything from nuts to dried fruit to sprinkles to chocolate. That's what's so great with these Bake Oven. You can take their mixes and then just be creative and do whatever you want.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you. It was so much fun.